We want to make sure that these people can continue to learn and make wiser financial decisions. And at the end of the day, like you guys said before I came on, it's all about the mindset. We're not going to make you a millionaire overnight, but we will change your mindset about money, because that's our mission.
Welcome to the Good Life.
We are here. What's up, everybody? Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. I got Coach could be in the building. Say what's up, Coach.
What up, though? It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I mean, you guys probably won't see the show in terms of sequential order, but last week was a week we didn't record. I'm out us here today, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I've also been traveling, so it's good to be back home. And I'm excited to do this episode. I think this particular episode, I might be jumping the gun a little bit here, as the host here will go ahead and my co-host will go ahead and introduce it. But this episode, I think America needs. So listen up.
This one right here, this one right here, this episode right here is what everybody needs. You're right. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And yes, we're glad to jump back. I know those of you that do check us out live, right? You missed us last week. Again, it's okay because we're
shouldn't have left you without a dope pod to step to, but we're back.
But we're back. That's all that matters. We are back. And as always, we appreciate all of you that continue to tune in, that continue to engage, like, share, all of those good things. If you have not jumped into our Facebook group, as always, make sure you jump into the Facebook group. That's where we are giving you in-depth insights, a little bit more connection to Kabi and I around all things health and wealth. We're engaging more. We're actually doing some things, revamping the Facebook group currently, where you're going to get even more access to us, right? We're going to show up even more inside of there, where you can get the information that you're going to need in order to go off and design the life that you deserve and design the life you don't need to break from, again, around your health and wealth. So go ahead and jump into the Facebook group. And I don't have a link for you, but we'll link it up in the chat or in the comments below. But y'all, we got a brand new YouTube channel. Some of y'all have been used to watching us over on the Cut the Noise channel for Kabi or over on United Agencies channel on YouTube. But what we decided to do is we said, let's put it all in one. Let's give them just the Good Life podcast, visual audio podcast channel. Just one. Let's go. Let's go. That's right. So we'll link it up in the comment, or we'll link it up in the chat down below. Link it up in the comments. I know I keep saying chat. Link it up in the comments. Same thing, right?
Yeah,
comments and chat.
Yeah, listen, find the link. Click the link and go ahead and subscribe. That's what my brother is saying. Find the link, click the link, and go ahead and subscribe. And we're looking forward to bringing you guys some more fire content. We are up in our game. We're up in our game, meaning we're putting more thought. I mean, we don't want to do too much work now. Let's not get crazy, all right? But we are putting time into really figuring out how we can continue to deliver the type of content that's going to actually, one, keep you entertained, and two, help you transform your life in the areas of health and wealth.
That's right. That's right. And so that's what we're here to do. Any Detroit news, bro?
Gotta give the people what they want. There's always Detroit news, but today we'll go ahead and skip the Detroit news in the interest of time. What am I talking about? Listen, guys, listen. I've been trying to tell you guys this for a long time, and I'll just remind you here for a second. All right. It is critical that you pay attention to the Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Lions. They are both. In fact, we're going to do the show in Detroit when both of these teams bring back trophies and they have parades. All right. 2 times. We're going to Detroit. We're going to do it live. I don't know where. I don't know how. I don't know with what money, but we're going to do it when Detroit finally brings home a championship. Just to let you guys know that is real. The Detroit love. This is not fake. This is not fake. Detroit is what America should be. A hard-working city. They take what we Can I say we yet? Uncle Jalen, can I say we? Can I say we?
I think
he'd probably say yes. We take what we're given, and we are the beacon of ingenuity, right? Beacon of ingenuity. My brother sent me a video here this weekend, and then, of course, we'll get off this year. Sent me a video this weekend that just showcased how much ingenuity comes out of Detroit, the heart of innovation. Dare I say it? Heart of innovation. So I'm very excited. Thank you, Detroit, for guiding us as to how America should be. Yeah, we got a lot to learn from the city of Detroit and the people of Detroit. I just want to say, what up, though?
Hembo, let's link that video up here when we when we go back into post-production on this, because that video is the epitome of ingenuity, the epitome of it. So shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. In other news, we got to talk about it because I don't think we did talk about the NBA draft. We did talk about the draft a bit, I think, as soon as it happened. But this kind of next step, this Victor Wembanyama.
Victor
Wembanyama.
Yes.
In his
call him
league,
Big Vic.
I'll call him Big V. Why not?
No. Big Vic.
I'm gonna make it V just because you said that.
Oh my god!
I'm just gonna call
so weird
because I'm just gonna call him whatever. It's Big V.
Man,
Big V. Yes, there we go. It's
guys. If you're watching this show, I just want you to know I apologize for my co-host. Nobody calls him Big V. It's Big Vic. Or Victor Wembanyama. That's the only names we hear first. This man is not. He's not out here paying attention to NBA basketball. But we'll keep you straight. We'll keep you straight.
Big V. When I see him,
man, this is gonna hurt my ears.
I'm not gonna get backhanded by his.
Shout out Britney Spears. There will be no Britney Spears slander on this show. Okay, there will be no Britney Spears slander on this show. I don't know why she was going up to a 7'5" man trying to tap him on the shoulder. Makes no sense.
That's the question.
Make no sense. But the most important thing coming out of this draft here, I think you guys got to pay attention to. I'll go ahead and give my little analysis. You'll put my cap back on. All right. Brandon Miller going number 2 was very controversial to Charlotte. Obviously, we know Charlotte owner's former owner, Michael Jordan. I believe he still has a stake in it, but sold it for, cool. I believe billion or something.
A couple billion.
Yeah, he got his money's worth, let's say, right? But he's still in charge in terms of making certain calls, at least during the draft. Drafted Brandon Miller. I thought it was a good call, but it's had a horrible summer league. And Scoot, who went number 3 to Portland. And, of course, we know that Damian Lillard is being traded here pretty soon. He should come to LA, but that's a story for another day. Scoot Henderson looks fantastic. So we'll see. We'll pay attention to the 1 and 2. But the one that I want to talk about is the mindset of Victor Wembanyama. Like, if you pay attention to the interviews that this man is given, this man is the epitome of the corporate athlete. And I believe not by his skill set, not by the fact that he's 7'5", not by the fact that he's got handles like a guard, not by the fact that he doesn't even have to jump to dunk, right? But because of his mindset and the interviews that he has, this man is a true corporate athlete, and he's being groomed to take over. Victor, let me just give you a little something here, and this wasn't prepared, just a little something off the cuff for you guys. All right, it's just a little something off the cuff. So Victor was asked, how do you feel about all this hype around you? He said, listen, I don't let all this stuff get to my head because I know I have such great expectations. Just off the top of it. Such great expectations for myself that I am immune to all of this noise. I don't care. Now, let's go ahead and compare. And then my brother here would jump in. Let's go ahead and compare the mindset of Wembanyama to another first-round pick, Zion Williamson. You guys remember Zion was supposed to take over the league. He was supposed to be the next LeBron. People called him the baby goat, right? Broke Nike shoe at Duke University. This dude looks like Draymond Green, but can jump out the gym. Okay. Obviously, we know he struggled with the beignets here. He struggled with the king crab cakes, right? He struggled. All right, and he was asked. He made an appearance on Gilbert Arenas' show. And guys, this is important. This is all about your health and wealth. These are important. All right, Gilbert Arenas shows up on the show, and they ask him, is it hard to maintain your diet? Keep in mind, this man has $100 million from Nike. a couple $100 million, if not more, from the Pelicans,
yeah.
right? And basically has all of this on the line. Could be the face of the league, right? Has probably 2 or 3 private chefs at this point. Has a weight clause in his contract, multi-million-dollar contract. This man says, since it's you, I'll be honest. That bleep is hard. It's hard, man. Like you're 2022. You got a lot of money and it feels like you have all the money in the world. It is hard. This man is talking about how difficult it is for him to maintain a weight in his weight clause to get a couple $1 million, guys. Listen, I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm a coach. I understand. Wow. That's all I got to say. Wow.
Listen, cut the guy a break. First off, being hard on people, coach. You're being a little hard on him. He's 22, right? 20, 21. I don't know. He's young. He's young.
That is the worst part of the situation. Let's not put this on age. Let's not put this on age. Victor is 19.
Yeah. However
what?
That's just not his thing. Like, so first off, in this conversation, we're looking at Zion. Zion's been open, I guess, about this weight thing, the weight clause.
No, he hasn't.
Listen,
this is his first interview about it. But keep going.
Meaning that we know this is an actual issue. This is not the first time that society, the sports world, has talked about his weight. He's now just talking about it. But in general, we know this is a thing, right? That's not just because like that's his mindset on it. Big V probably struggles in a different area. We just don't know what that area is yet. Like, it might not be in his food, but it might be in how he practices or his off the court active. Like, who knows? You're wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm not. And we have to let this scenario play out. That's all. We just gotta let it play out.
No. Let's have a word here. Let's have a word of accountability to our young men and women out here. Like, listen, this is not about being hard on Zion. Okay. This is not about age. This is not about anything. This is, we're going to hand you a multi-million-dollar contract, and all we need you to do is to eat what your chef prepares for you. No, sir. No, sir. This is not about age. Okay. This is not about anything. Victor is 19, and the man's the way he speaks about his regiment, his approach to the game, his approach to, listen, I'm just saying there's levels to this. And for those out there who screaming genetics, behavior is what I always scream. Habits is what I always scream. And when you put millions of dollars on the line, come on now. Come on.
That's supposed to make someone do more because there's money on the line?
No, he should have been doing it before the money was on the line. Thank you. I appreciate that. He should have been doing it before the money was on the line.
Should, but right? Like I'm saying, like that, there's obviously there's going to be a struggle for Zion.
This is not about Zion's character.
Right.
Let me be clear.
Right.
This is about mindset. And what I really want to point out is a lot of people will point to genetics in terms of success. For example, LeBron's success. For example, Victor's success. I point to their mindset. Of course, there are things out there that's hard for LeBron. Of course, there are things out there that are hard for Vic, but it is your approach.
Yeah.
It is your approach that matters. Who has not given Zion the opportunity, right? Or the tools, or every single opportunity, basically everything he needs, he's been given. And we're going to excuse him for not doing the things he knows to do. Come on, man. Come on. I think this is what's wrong with society right now. All right. We can't speak on things like this without people doing like, well, he's just not that way. All right. It's just not in his personality. It's just maybe that's just hard for him. Man, listen. No, no. There comes a time, right, when we all make decisions, and that's what it's all about. Right? We all make this decision. He has to make multiple decisions. Multiple decisions. This is him shoveling food in his mouth. Multiple decisions. Multiple beignets. Multiple, oh, I'm not going to eat what my chef gives me. I'm going to go eat this. Bro, those are a series of multiple decisions over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you have an injury history. Come on, man. We can't do that. We can't do that. At some point in time, you got to take responsibility. Hard work beats talent when what? Talent doesn't work hard. Come on, man. We're corporate athletes out here. We got to point these things out. We got to point these things out.
And you're doing a great job of pointing it out. And I think the rest of society is too, right? That's why they asked him the question on the show, is because it's a real thought that people have. However, again, my stance, I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm not
as he's about to let him off the hook.
I'm not. I just, my perspective is always, we're all struggling in an area.
Of course.
It's just, this happens to be the one that right, is a spot for us to talk about. And we believe, because it's something that we deal in, it's controllable. Again, everything is controllable because it's a decision that you're making. But that's just one aspect of his corporate athletehood, right? Of his nature.
That is again a major aspect, bro. And that's the difference here. This is not just one aspect. Everything in his life is tied to this one thing, right? Yes, mindset, not health, not the health side. Absolutely, a health. He's a professional athlete. Yeah. What are you talking about? It's literally in his contract.
Yeah, but there's plenty of, again, we're talking about Zion specifically, but there's plenty of players that like don't eat well.
He's not plenty of players.
I know.
He's not plenty of players.
I'm just saying though.
He's again, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. He is probably the most talented #1 pick until Victor came around. Right? So this is not, and we can have this conversation, another day, but I'm not going to let you do this. I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you do it, because I'll tell you this, and I was a kid, right, at some point, so I speak from my perspective.
Really? You didn't come out with this wisdom? You didn't? You weren't just
well, I did, but in kid form.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, in kid form, right?
Got it.
When we say these sort of things are okay, I do truly believe that student athletes, young folks see that and they say, it's okay. Especially when you're so talented, you're literally what? Look at the AAU circuit. We're literally babied all the way through, right? Like what? You know how good? Okay, somebody will take the test for you. What? All the way through. We're not doing them any favors, right? And this is why I have a couple points point out. This is why I believe, and Kobe Bryant also believed, and a lot of people have stated behind the scenes that, or on camera, that the international players will overtake the NBA over time. Why? Mindset. Look at the Joker. Look at Vic, right? Look at Embiid, right? Mindset. The last 4, we've talked about this. The last 4, I believe, MVPs have been international players. The talent outside of the U.S. has dominated, right? But now, when talent doesn't work hard, right? The talent is here, but that's picking up. Whether it's Serbia, whether it's Congo, whether it's Cameroon, whether they're picking up, right? They're picking up, and I think that this is a whole nother thing we're going to see here. But you got to pay attention. It's not just about the sports. So we study sports, so we can look at it, apply it to our lives as corporate athletes.
That's right. Let's dive into the show. We got a really special guest today, a guy that I've been connected with for some time now. And man, he's such a good guy. He's doing really awesome work. He's the founder of Seedlyng Financial Education and IMAR Learning Solutions. He is deep into the education system currently, and has been. We'll let him introduce himself and kind of give a little backstory, but has been deep in education and now is on this mission of making sure our youth understand money. And, you know, it's something that I'm passionate about, something Kabir's passionate about. That's why we have the show. But we wanted to bring on Mr. Derrick Wesley to have this financial education conversation with us here on The Good Life. Thanks for joining us, Derrick. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me on, fellas. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with your audience. I'm not even gonna lie, it was really rough backstage listening to you guys talk about Zion and all of those issues, because I'm sitting here listening to it and I'm making all of these connections with, like you said, mindset. There's so many ways that it's connected to our kids in school learning about money. Even the issue with Zion with the food, that didn't start in the NBA. That was an issue probably in middle, high school, college that he's been dealing with, and no one stepped in to kind of help train him to make sure he has the correct mindset going into the NBA, so he doesn't fumble the bag, so that he can keep that money to create that generational wealth for his future children's children. And so good stuff there. I definitely want to touch on some of those things that you were speaking about, but owner and founder, like you said, of Seedlyng Financial Education. We mainly work with middle and high schools. We have some cool, innovative tools that we created to make it easier for the teachers in the classroom to be able to teach financial literacy to the students, because as you guys already know, unfortunately, a lot of educators aren't financially literate, so they definitely need some help and support. So that's one of our strong suits, being able to train them up, make sure that it's easy for them to be able to share our content with the students. I mean, honestly, it's so easy the way we made it. We were able to train high school seniors to teach 6th, 7th, and 8th graders how to use our content and be successful. So thank you guys for having me on, and I'm looking forward to the chat.
Yeah, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, man. And you know, this financial literacy conversation, this financial education conversation is a big one. It's a big topic. The reason why we wanted to have this is because oftentimes here on the show, we talk about the adults, right? We talk about the corporate athlete. We talk about, you know, the people like us that are in the process of designing, right, our ideal life around our health and our wealth, right? So we're having these conversations, but it's so important to take a step back and be like, hey, well, how are we getting this information? Like, how are young people getting this information? Like, I know we're trying to like course correct some things now as adults and unlearn and relearn some mindsets and some habits and some information around these topics, but like, where does this thing start? And I think us attacking the money part, it's funny because Kabir and I said, should we do money and health? And Kabir was like, no, that's a whole separate show, right? Like we got to go into that different.
And then come back and you got to have that show together, actually,
exactly.
after you've had that conversation.
That's right.
It definitely is connected, especially the stress that comes with dealing with finances. That's why a lot of people are sick, because of the stress.
For sure. For sure. So real quick, how did you get into the financial education space, financial literacy space, Derrick?
So I'm a veteran educator. I was working with Junior Achievement, teaching the AVID program. I know some of you might be familiar with that program. That one is for kids that are kind of BC level students, but might have some issues at home, might need some extra support in the classroom. So Junior Achievement back in 2019, they were kind enough to share some resources with my class. And I wasn't teaching financial literacy. I was teaching, you know, helping tutor them and teaching them reading and different things like that. And that was the most engaged I had seen my class that entire school year. Why? Because they were learning about money. And it didn't matter if you came from a wealthy family or the poorest family in the school. Each and every one of them had to deal with money in some form or fashion. They would go home, talk to their parents about the conversations that we were having, coming back to class, asking questions. That didn't happen in a regular reading and science class. And so that a light bulb went off for me. And I said, this is definitely something that the students need, because not everyone's getting it. And it really touched me, because some of my students, the only meal they might get was the meal from school. Some of them were homeless, living outside, living in their cars and different things like that. And so I really felt that that needs to be in the school system, making sure that everyone at least has an opportunity to touch it in some form or fashion. And so it was back in 2019 also, I participated in TD Ameritrade's innovation contest. I came up with this idea to create a mobile financial literacy app that builds out a personalized curriculum for each user. So you can be as young as 5 all the way up to retirement age, and you'll get content based on your age and your assessment score. And there's lessons, articles, videos, quizzes, all inside of the app. And so that's kind of where I started with everything. That was my initial idea. And then I realized, well, I also need a web-based platform to be able to give to the teachers inside of the classroom. And so I partnered with Seedlyng Education, and we have a web portal that we provide for the teachers in the classroom so that they can get student data. They take pre and post assessments. They get to monitor the student growth throughout the school year to see how they're doing as far as learning about money. And we want to make it fun and engaging. Chris, you were one of the first ones that created some video content for us, so thank you for that. I appreciate it, and I'm glad we're still able to rock and roll together to continue to work on different projects moving forward also. And so that's just our main thing, making sure that it's easy for the teachers in the classroom, make sure that they can make sure that the students are mastering the content and making it fun for the kids.
Yeah,
that is huge. And Derrick, I want to thank you for being here. I also want to thank you for coming in and letting Chris know he was absolutely wrong about that Zion conversation.
We have to talk about that Big V thing too, Chris.
Yeah, listen, Big V.
Oh man, we're bringing Derrick back. We're bringing Derrick back.
This is the last time Derrick is on the show. We appreciate your time, brother. We appreciate you.
No, he's clearly a truth teller, so I appreciate you. If you can tell the truth about something else. So my question, the question we're asking today is, at what age is should financial education be taught in the school curriculum? You just talked about your web-based solution to the problem, and also your mobile-based solution to the problem, which is fantastic. And I'm sure you're going to continue to share a little bit more, even about a little bit later on. But my question is, what did you see? Because you talked about junior achievement, which I didn't have the opportunity to go through, but I am aware of kind of what it is. My question is, what did you see was junior achievement available to everybody? And 2, what did you how, if it wasn't, how was financial education handled in the schools, if at all? Was it touched at all? Was junior achievement the only way? What was missing that you later on created the solution for?
So that's a really good question. So I've taught in a few different school districts, and that time I was in Richardson ISD, and that was the only time that we had something like that. And so it was really cool, the partnership that they had with junior achievement. So what happened was, we would go through their financial literacy content for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then after that, it was in preparation for the students to go on a field trip to a special campus that they designed with junior achievement, so that the students would get jobs for a day. And then they also brought in volunteers to come and help coach the students, so they would get a job for the day. They would get told how many kids they have, how much money they make per month, and then they would have to go to these different stations to kind of do their job, get their paycheck, and then also go pay their bills at the bank. If you didn't make it to the bank within a certain time, then the bank's closed. You're stuck without money, and you can't buy your kids groceries, so they can't eat, and so you're losing points throughout this whole process. And it was just so amazing watching the kids, because you could see the panic on some of their faces. You could see the joy in some of their faces for the ones that made it to the bank in time. They were able to get their groceries. And one of the key things was, it was real food that they would be able to spend the money on. So they also had like little sandwiches and cakes and cookies and different things. And so the kids that didn't make it, they didn't get that experience. Now, we gave them some snacks later, but during that time when we were doing it, they didn't get to do that. And so we really wanted it to be a real life experience for those kids. And that's something special that junior achievement did for that district. I haven't seen anything like that in any other district that I've taught in, unfortunately. And so I know there are a lot of districts that are trying to do certain things, especially with the states requiring it for graduation, more and more states, but it's not all of the states. And so there are some teachers and principals that are real passionate about it, but sometimes it's hard to find those that aren't focused on the reading and math scores, that actually want to do something for the kids that is going to really impact their future, because it's needed. Like I said, everyone has to learn about money, because everyone's going to have to deal with it some way down the line.
It's so true, man. That's so true.
We'll talk about those cakes and whatnot. So I'll bet you the kids later.
I was gonna say, right? And then don't forget
Hopefully
the ones
Zion
that,
isn't listening.
right, his mouth is over here watering. But not to mention the kids that had nothing. They were just sitting over in the corner like, you get no food. It's like,
Yep.
anyways.
Keep it real. It's real life, though.
Hey, listen, it's real life.
Absolutely.
And that's why, like, programs like that, or activities like that, ideas like that are so crucial. Who do you think's responsibility is it, Derrick, to like really teach the kids? Is like finances specifically? Is it parents? Does it fall on the teacher? Is it special programs? Should it be apps? Like whose responsibility do you think this is?
I think it takes a village. It really does take a community effort of everyone being able to pitch in to provide resources like financial literacy. I, of course, think it should be baked into the curriculum, into reading and math all together, or it could be a separate subject. We teach them everything else. So why not make sure that they learn about finances and how it works? But there's always those challenges, that red tape, because some principals that we've spoken to, if it isn't math or reading, they don't want to spend the time. They don't want to spend the money. Why? Because their job depends on the reading and math scores. It doesn't depend on financial literacy. That's just something extra that they can provide. So we're really looking for schools that want to be innovative and looking for new ways to engage their students and engage the community also, because the parents, unfortunately, they aren't financially literate. And so that cycle is just going to continue if we're not making sure the teachers know how to manage money, the parents, the principals, the students, everyone. And it's so important because you're going to have much better conversations, even for me as a teacher, if the students did the homework the night before and they're coming in and asking those questions. Now we can have a deeper conversation. Now we can really, instead of teaching you the foundational stuff, I can teach you how to make money on the side, how about residual income and different things, how to invest in the stock market, because you know more about it. And so that's what we want to start making sure of. So for example, what age? My boys, I have two sons, they started asking me about money at age 5. And they had tons of questions. And so I had to really sit them down and break everything down to them, because unfortunately my parents didn't have those conversations with me. So got to break the cycle. That's where I'm at with it.
That's huge. I had so many thoughts. I just lost all of them. I had like four things. I had like 4 things I was going to say to that. But it's true. Obviously, as a parent, fellow parent, right? Like my daughter's 6 and she's been talking about money. And, a mutual friend of ours, Mac Gardner, wrote that book, The 4 Money Bears.
4 Money Bears. Love that book.
Yeah, it's a great book. And that's what got her into it. We were reading her that book since she was 3. Right. Since she was maybe like 2 or 3, we were reading her that book. And so she's picked up some concepts. And to this point, right, she's 6. She's probably got, a couple $100 saved. Right. Yep. And she still wants to spend, but she understands saving. She talked about her lemonade stand and, form of growing business. So like she's 6. She's already kind of in that mindset because we've been having the conversation. So
and I'm sure she's watching you and the things that you're doing, man. And sometimes you don't even have to speak. They just watch us move and they mimic us. So I love that she's doing
that. And that goes directly to the point that I was going to make, which is my pushback, and we've had this conversation, Derrick, but my pushback is it's the responsibility of the parent. Like it would be great to get it into school, but in all honesty, like in my opinion, the parents are the ones that are going to implement, because that's a child's kind of first frame of reference of like, this is how to do life. Yep. Granted, school is giving you some information and you're getting around some peers, and it would be great to have the conversations there. But I don't think that the responsibility can fall on the teacher or the school, because in all honesty, like, you already said how many teachers are financially literate, right? So now they're just going to be reading out of a curriculum that they were given and they really don't understand the stuff, right? So how dangerous is that when it's like nobody understands it? And now you're giving them maybe false information now, and the parent doesn't know. Like, I just think that goes down a real slippery slope. So I think it's on the parent it's great to plant a seed in school, right? Like
Yep.
those things, like, hey, we went on a field trip or something. We learned something about money. I took that home to my mom. I took that home to my dad, and we had a conversation because mom and dad built on that information, that seed that was planted. So yeah, I think it falls on the parent.
I think that's a great point by both of you. Chris, it being on the responsibility of teaching kids has to naturally fall on the parents, because to your point, Derrick, I mean, whether you're intentionally teaching or not, they're mimicking, they're seeing what you're doing. Yeah. So you're modeling it, right? So I actually love your response, Derrick, which is that it takes a village. So it starts with the parent, and of course we should have something on it in the curriculum. If at all possible. This is one of the major things we know will affect each and every individual in life, including reading and writing. They'll have to learn how to handle money. And I'll add, they have to learn how to take care of their health too, but we'll talk about that in another episode. And also, then it also falls, on the parent being educated, the teachers being educated, the friends being educated, and all around, the whole village is able to put that into place. I love that response. And actually, it kind of shifted my mind a little bit, because I was originally thinking, oh, man, it has to be the parents. But why just the parent? It starts with the parent, and then we support the parent with all of these other tools and things that we have. But my question to you, Derrick, is, if you can, with that in mind, and you have your not a web-based tool, you have I actually was going to credit you with 4 Money Bears, but until you said that,
the Mac, yep.
Yeah,
Mac.
Yeah, okay. So Mac, sorry, I almost took credit away from you there. But there are all these, tools in place. In your experience, is one more effective than the other? Is there a place where, let's say a parent is watching this, they have a child, they were like, oh man, I didn't have any of this, I don't know what I'm doing. Where should they maybe potentially start?
Oh, that's a great question, because, all right, so as an educator, I'm always pulling from different resources. Why? Because everyone learns differently. Some students, they're going to get it better by actually having something hands-on. Other students, they can just listen and hear the information. Some students have to read it for themselves. And so with our curriculum, we actually make sure that we have different components like that baked into the curriculum, so that the teacher can touch on those different types of learning styles. And so that's why it's also so important. Some of the content creators like Chris that we have in there, Amobi Okugo, he's a professional soccer player. He started a frugal athlete. He makes sure that the athletes understand how money works. And so even putting some of his content in there to make sure that the kids can see, oh, that's Amobi Okugo, he's a pro soccer player, I want to be a pro soccer player. They'll listen to him. And then making sure that they have those hands-on activities. What I love about Sensei is that they have tons of articles, tons of quizzes, games, and different things like that. So we package all of that into a bundle for our teachers. So then that way, it doesn't matter how the student learns best. We give them different opportunities to be able to touch the content, to figure out how they like it best. And then we love being customizable for the school. They might want something that's relevant to a certain culture. So then we'll put something together for them, because sometimes it's those little things like that that really connects with someone and they're more willing to listen. And then we also got to keep the content not super long videos. We want to make sure that it's short and sweet, because you only get their attention span for so long and you don't want to go over their head. We want to make sure that it's on their learning level. That's good.
That's really good, man. I want to shift gears real quick because this just popped in my head, and talk to you a little bit more about the business side of implementing Seedlyng, or like any of the things you're doing. What have been either the things you've been hearing, like the good things from schools or from parents, or what have been some of the challenges? Maybe touch on a little bit of both, because again, you're building a business, right? And we talk a lot about this on the show, just as far as entrepreneurship and really owning your time by starting a business adds value. And the reason why I jumped on the platform early, Derrick, is because I could see that this was going to add a lot of value to people, like a lot of value to kids. But I also know that there's probably challenges getting it to people and implementing it. So just give some feedback on like kind of what your experience has been building Seedlyng.
So for us, on LinkedIn, I posted recently that we were awarded a major RFP from Region 10 here in Texas. So that's going to give us access to 88 school districts in Region 10, 42 charter schools, 880,000 students, lives that we can potentially impact through being awarded this RFP. That's all great and dandy because the region, the academic service agent that supports the local school district sees the value in what we're doing. We've been vetted, went through their whole process. They're like, yes, this is our financial literacy provider that we want the schools to use. That's great. But then now our next challenge is now we have to talk to the superintendents. Now we have to talk to the principals, and then the principal has to sell their teacher on it. And so we have to go through, we knock down one barrier and then here comes another one. And it all depends sometimes on how important financial literacy is to the superintendent or the principal. And then the teacher, if the teacher isn't feeling it because they're feeling like they're adding something else to his or her plate, now that's another barrier we have to overcome. And so one step at a time, that's the way we look at it. We love that the districts, before we were awarded the RFP for Region 10, there were 22 school districts that we were awarded RFPs for also. And so the district sees the value in it. And so now we have to just get to that next level now and showing the superintendents, the directors, and the principals how important this is to be in the hands of their students. And something that we really value is being able to be that bridge between math and reading, because financial literacy, if done right, can really help bring up those math and reading scores. So that's another focus, that area that we love to present to teachers. That's good, man. I think that's the selling point too, because you mentioned something earlier, and we often say this on the show, follow the money, right? Yep. So when you said principals or people that you're talking to don't actually, Kaviz's got the money shirt on. There we go. There it is. Show me the money. Right. Follow that's right. Money. That's right. Follow the money. When you know that the higher ups, the principals, the superintendents, they're not implementing it because it doesn't specifically affect their money. Right. Like if they only care about the reading scores and the math scores because that's how they bonus, because that's how they get reassigned or whatever, right? Keep their job, make more money, whatever the case is, they're just going to do that. And so when you follow the money, it's like, oh, that's why there's no financial education schools, because there's no incentive. Principals don't bonus from the superintendents, have no incentive to do this. The incentive is just get your kids to read and write, or read, write, and do math. You know what I mean? Like, and after that, it is what it is. Yep. So I think there's probably something there on the legislative side, right, in government to say, let's incentivize these superintendents, these principals to say, if X happens, right, in with financial education or financial literacy, and it reflects in these areas, right, you'll still get bonused or you'll get your money or whatever the case is. But it really does have a lot to do with following the incentives around money. Let me also say this. We made it super easy for the schools also. As far as the business side, we normally charge $10 per student for the entire school year, which that won't make a big dent in the school's budget. And so even if the schools can't afford us, we're more about impact over the money. Okay, so if a school wants to work with us, that's no problem. We'll still set up the students with all of our tech tools, just like as if they had the budget, and then we'll go out and find a bank sponsor or a credit union sponsor to help sponsor our content. Because at the end of the day, we're really passionate about making sure that these students have the knowledge that they need to be successful, because we know it'll come back around to us later on. That's good. That's good, man. Looks like we're going to wrap up here because we don't want to keep you too long. We've been keeping the show tight, but final thoughts and kind of final words on this financial education, financial literacy in schools. What do you want to see happen, Derrick? Like, what is this supposed to look like in schools, in our education system? Like, what's ideal for you and for Seedlyng if it's your business? Of course, we want to be the #1 financial literacy provider for the U.S. and globally. We work with schools in Texas, Chicago, Idaho, even Lebanon and the Middle East through a partnership with the U.S. Embassy there. And so just making sure that students have everything that they need so that they can be successful and helping ease the pressure from teachers. I'm an educator. I know what goes on in the classroom. I know that it helps if you have a year-long curriculum. Week 1, day 1, do this. Week 1, day 2, do that. So we've set all of that up. You can throw the PowerPoint on and walk the students through it. We have the worksheets and everything available. And I see there's a lot of people promoting financial literacy, athletes, entertainers, and different people like that. Just make sure that it's something that's really helping people and making sure that they're learning and mastering the content, not just putting a band-aid on it. We want to make sure that these people can continue to learn and make wiser financial decisions. And at the end of the day, like you guys said before I came on, it's all about the mindset. We're not going to make you a millionaire overnight, but we will change your mindset about money, because that's our mission.
Man, starting strong, ending strong. Derrick, thank you so much for being here. I'm just very, very excited to have somebody else on the show to set Chris straight.
I can't wait to come back on.
Never again. Never again.
But hold on.
Open invite.
All right.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
At the beginning of this, you said that this is the conversation that America needs, but you didn't mention America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, all right. Okay. You're going.
Okay.
Derrick, it's been great.
Detroit Lions and Philadelphia Eagles, right, Chris? Man,
fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Get out of here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe 2 of those, if not 3 of them, play on Thanksgiving, correct?
I think so.
Yeah. I
we
believe
have
it's
to have
the
a special
Detroit
show.
Lions and the Dallas Cowboys and not the Eagles, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. Yeah.
Nobody care about the Eagles.
No.
Yo, we went to the Super Bowl. Relax.
So close.
Relax. When's the last time either one of those 2 teams went to? When's the last time Detroit? Exactly.
Listen.
We don't want to bring that up.
As Drake said, we started from the bottom, but we will be here one day. One day.
Those aren't the lyrics.
See, we keep fighting. We keep fighting. All right. Before Chris spews more nonsense, listen, Derrick, where's the best place for particularly parents who have heard of this and they're like, man, how do I get started? How do I get going here? What's the best place? Where's the best place for them to contact you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Seedlyng, SEEDLYNG, and you'll be able to link to our website there, imarlearningsolutions.com, or also www.seedlyng.com.
Awesome. Now, besides the 4 money bears, we'll let you go because we've cited that. Is there another book that maybe you would recommend for those who would be interested in learning a little bit more about money in general?
Anything from Sammy Rabbit, Sam Rennick. We've partnered with him to provide content for the younger kids in elementary, and also Hassan Thomas. He's put out 2 really good books that he's promoting lately about his journey. I believe it was From College to COVID was the first one, and the financial lessons he's learned along the way. And he just released a brand new book. So check out Hassan Thomas also.
Oh. So much gold in here, Hembo. Let's make sure we get these titles in the caption or wherever in the chat box, as Chris would say. Hey, Derrick, it's been such a pleasure, and thank you so much.
Same, guys. All right, until next time.
All right, listen. We're not even going to extend this show here because who knows what Chris is going to say next. And also, we got a lot of value in this show.
Big V.
Please stop. Please stop. We got a lot of value in this show. We'll make sure we get this stuff in the chat box for you guys. Hembo, we'll make sure we get in there for everybody to make sure they take a part of. But please, wherever you see this, you can do a couple of things to support us. You can like somewhere, some way, somehow, thumbs up, like, whatever. You can subscribe, which is what we prefer. That's what we really like. And what we like even more is for you to get into our private community and Facebook group that we will link. It's on the screen now, but we will link it in the comments, in the chat box, wherever you want to see that. And make sure that you join us for exclusive content. What we'll be doing is we'll be putting out little mini series at least once a week coming up here soon. I'm teasing it a little bit. We are looking forward to that. That will be exclusive to the group. right? We want to go ahead and provide a lot of value in the group there. So please join us there. Let's create community together, because as Derrick said, it takes a village, whether it's your health, whether it's your wealth that you're working on, whether it's your kids and helping them in both of those areas. It takes a village. So let's create that village. If you don't have one, join us. We're creating that village for you guys to tap into. And guys, until next time, unless Chris has anything else crazy to say, but we're not going to give him the opportunity. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.
Welcome to the good life.